Oh, I'm back to day 265, for sure. So, pretty much I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but we're going to talk more about it right now. So, the thing with the piercing video, which I know they were really bitter about, where apparently a lot of the piercing community went try to call them out, and they were really against it, and blah blah. And that video was the one video that made me really, really mad at theirs. Because, one second, sorry, really loud noise. Pretty much what happened is there's, that one video was the one that I got really upset about, or the most upset about. The only one I got upset about in general, I'm pretty sure. So, they did kind of stupid things, like if they got hurt, they could go to the ambulance, or call an ambulance, or go to the doctor, or blah blah. Piercings are the same. They can go to the doctor. I'm not that upset that they decided to do this stupid thing. Pretty much, they signed up for these risks. What got me was Mark, not Ethan, but Mark, kept saying, no, this is 100% fine. We are not going to get infected. Nothing bad's going to happen. This is fine. And I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Even the best piercer and the best pierced person, modded person, can get an infected piercing. It just can happen. You touch it just once, germs. Depending on what happens, different things can happen. Some can reject, some can tilt. I think he tilted probably a little bit. I like where he is, so it's all good. But he tilted because I would be laying on him, because that's what I do. I lay on my ears. I tried not to, even though it was painful. My body rather sleep on it than not. That's just how it goes. Top surgery is going to be a pain, but let's keep going. What got me is that I got a lot of piercers, the piercers that I saw talk about it, was just really upset that he thought that just because he got sterile piercings and sterile needles from Amazon does not mean your place is sterile, you're sterile, and they are even sterile at all. And then the fact that he, like, little things, like, people are like, you got your one hand on your glove, so your glove is now useless. You're supposed to put them on by, like, the wrists, so you don't touch the little fingy bits, the part that pierces the ear. Little things like, he's like, oh, the alcohol hurts inside. Well, if you got a sterile needle, then why are you wiping the needle with the alcohol wipes? And then they got them pierced, and then instantly went like this. Your hands are not clean. Also, you emptied out the piercings and touched them when they were on the table. They're not sterile. Period. Then also having a hoop be, this one it's not so bad. Usually they mean, like, don't get pierced with hoops like this because the thing might be circular, which that means you can only have circle piercings in. Like, this is not a straight hole, it is a circle, an eyebrow piercing, so it's like this. So it's this one, it's not a straight hole, it's a circle. That's why this is this big. I exchanged flat with circular ones. Some people, because these are hard to clean, they suggest doing a circle one. Then debatable. But pretty much, like, especially here, you can hook onto a circle thing real easily and just rip it, so you don't really like healing in that. Also, it moves a whole hell lot more. Moving a piercing around like this a lot makes it harder to heal. But with it being here, mainly in like the very next video or a couple videos after, when it was clearly still healing, they played with a puppy. I would really, again, circle, puppy, rip your ear. It will hurt like hell, if not rip out, but probably just hurt us like hell and to cause a little rip. rips are worse than piercings. They got that going for them. They didn't use a gun, which they did buy in case. Don't ever use a gun. It rips your ear open, not pierces it. It is a blunt force object versus a needle that's meant to go into your ear. A hollow needle, piercing needle is way better. Oh, sorry, my thing failed to download. 1 second. Yes, please retry. Okay. So yeah, so it's really a big difference between that. I trust that they can clean it because they're adults, and more importantly, if they got infected, they can drive. So yes, what they did in the video wasn't ideal, but what they said in the video was the worst part. So the fact that Mark kept saying, oh, well, people do it at home all the time. And yes, well, you know, a lot of cultures, they pierce their babies' ears at home. I do not know how many babies get infected, but they also are, in a weird way, if they're a certain youngness, they might not have a concept of touching their ear. So it's also different because they might not touch it, but I do not recommend piercing babies' ears. I've seen some piercing from a pierced baby's ear. The holes up here, some it's so low down that they can't wear earrings anymore. They have to get it re-pierced anyways. Problem is, they didn't want to pierce right above it because if it rips to the next hole, boom, it rips down. So pretty much with piercings, yes, they heal shut, but pretty much they heal the top part and the inside. So for your ear, it'll heal this part and it'll heal the back, but there is now a tube of like this outside skin going through your ear. It is like a tunnel. So your tunnel will be open, just both inside and out will be closed. Maybe eventually the tunnel closes, especially if it's size, like, I think this is like a size 20? No. Yeah, a size 20 or something. I don't know, regular classic earring hole versus the 16, 18. All my piercings are 16 besides 18. Gauge, smaller the number, bigger the piercing. So like a size 14 is bigger than a size 16. So anyways, so what happens is this small hole, maybe it heals completely, but if the one tunnel rips into the or opens up to the next tunnel, now the tunnel is going to be twice as big. Not ideal. Like the hook earring I wore today, that I showed yesterday, could easily just go right out. I know a lot of people that got gauges, they shrink, but if they shrink and they're not quite down to a 20, if they're like, you know, I don't think they go by even numbers, but like 19, then a 20 might just slip out easily, but you can't fit an 18 in there. It's just not quite right. That being said, gauges, especially like small gauges, they heal up. Like you barely can notice them. Just do it if you want it. Low-key thought about gauging one of my ears, but like a tiny, teeny little gauge that just has the plug look, and that's it. But I never did. Never committed. Don't know if I want to. I just every once in a while think about it and go, ooh, would that be fun? But anyways, so the problem is saying, literally, if you do the same things we do, you can pierce yourself at home. No, that's the problem. Do not tell your people at home to do this at all. No one, I know culture, other people, different cultures, different piercings. If you can take care of it and you can really monitor them, sure. But for the most part, I was 7, and every single person I talked to that when I was 7, each person that got their ears pierced, because of the culture around our ears pierced when we were so young, it was Claire's, it was with a gun, it was with a butterfly back clip, which are the worst, by the way. All those things just added up to every single person getting an infection. Every single one. Period. It wasn't if you get an infection, it's when you get an infection. That's it. They're like, if you get an infection by this, like, solution or whatever, but the people are like, no, buy it now, you're going to need it. It's not if, it's when. So the idea that exists was just, that's the culture here we have. So giving certain ones earrings, I feel like, don't give certain ages. Piercings, if we're in the, where we are, it's going to get infected. That's horrible. It's scary, it's horrible, don't do it. But the point is, so if a 14-year-old, and again, I got this one when I was probably 12. I got this. This one and this one are the only two that ever got infected. This one because it kept falling out. Don't know why. I would go like this and it would just right out. I know some people pierce 1 gauge up, but I don't think you're supposed to do that with a nose ring, so I don't know why that would have happened. But this one, I was careless one day and I knew it was going to get infected. I should have right then and there deep cleaned it. But that was me. That was on me. This one, it fell out. But the problem is, at, whatever age, every age, I don't think I could drive yet with this one either. I started driving like when I was 17. But, point is, I could get to a doctor. The point is, needing to get to the doctor, you need to have a pathway. So if your kid sneaks out and gets piercings in some friend's basement with a piercing gun and it's going to get infected, your basement definitely is not better than Claire's, and Claire's is horrible. I'm not going there. The point is that the fact that you're telling people, oh, well, if you follow my instructions, you're fine. No, you're not. And if you're going to sneak around and get these things, and sneak around and pierce yourself without knowledge of your parents, then once you get an infection, you're not going to go and own up to it. They're not going to own up to it. And if you don't own up to it, don't do it. It's one of those things that I heard people like, if you can't say what you're doing, don't do it. So if you can't say, like, vagina or penis or sex, don't have it. Same thing. If you can't tell people that you're getting a piercing, don't get a piercing. So if you are too uncomfortable to get a certain piercing, or any piercing, you are not okay enough to get it. Like, you're not there. If you can't say, oh, I got a snug piercing to your parents, and you're like hiding it, but you can't go to the doctor by yourself, either for money reasons, car reasons, you're too ashamed to even tell a doctor, you can't get it. Don't do it. It's not going to be good. So, like, one time somebody was telling me, and I got every single one of my piercings I got at a piercer shop with a needle, minus these, minus my lobe piercings back when I was 7. All of them were done at a shop with permission from my parents. Well, my mom. With my dad, doesn't matter. I had that way of going to get it done. So I got it done professionally, sterilely, at a shop. So what happened is that when people would come up to me like, oh, I'm gonna go get, and they were saying like get a lip piercing or both or whatever, and they're like, I'm gonna get a lip piercing in my friend's basement. My friend's older brothers is going to give me a piercing in their basement. Red flags. And I'm like, girl, I am 15 and I know for a fact that that is the stupidest shit you have ever said in your life. Do not. And she was like, what do you mean you got piercings? I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying you can't get a piercing, but I'm saying if you gotta go to someone's basement, that is already like, it's going to get infected. And then they mentioned, I hope it's with a gun because it's quicker. No, it isn't. It's way worse than a flat thing. Again, those have to be butterfly clips. Your teeth are gone, baby. Baby, I wouldn't even. No. God, don't even. Like, that hurts me. Like, it hurts because it makes me feel like something is. Imagine getting a back of an earring and just going to your teeth all day, every day. No. It's going to get infected because it's now a piercing. B, or C, your lip everywhere. You need a skilled person. I have a vein slightly lower than these ear piercings, and I was scared you can't pierce there. And she goes, "Oh yeah, I got it." Some people with tongue piercings can't get tongue piercings, veins. Depending where they are, you might not be able to get it. Same with lip piercings. That's why my lip piercings are this way. Like, that's where they are, because of veins. You have to measure perfectly this. This is I needed a slightly smaller bar because I got this so long ago. It started to eject a little bit. But it still looks fire, so I'm going to keep him. But, like, you need, every single piercing takes skill. Lube is the least skilled, but you know how many people I heard get it crooked because they got it in a gun? Because you can't freaking do those things. You can't line them up, you can't get it done. So anyway, the point is every single piercing has skill to it. Don't get it done in someone's basement, because if you're telling me, this 12-year-old's telling me, I'm going to get it done in my friend's basement. Okay, when it gets infected, because you're doing it that way, when it gets infected, are you going to go to your parents? Are you going to go to that brother and be like, take me to the hospital? Take me to my doctor? Did you make did you call, make a doctor's appointment, go, show up, get some, literally what you could do, which, I don't think kids would know. Did you make, like, for around here, like the Minute Pharmacy, like minute pharmacy, like the quick pharmacies or quick doctors, you can get antihistamines, nope, anti-infections, antiseptic, no, and whatever. You can get infection medicine really easily through those, but they are probably like, you know, it's still about money. So do you have the money to go get an appointment and get the medicine and then be responsible enough to take them? Because if you're not, don't get a piercing. If you can't go get a doctor's appointment to fix your infection, don't do it. If you don't know how to take care of it, don't do it. Don't do it. And that was the worst part, because it's just like, again, they signed up, but they're adults. If they had an infection, they would be able to go to a doctor and get medicine, or also clean it and blah blah. They know how to, also adults can handle pain differently than kids. So it's just the idea that, like, oh, well, we can just get it done or whatever, or especially with this in particular, that video was, oh, you can do it at home yourself. It's like, no, you can't. Do not tell kids, because that's what you're telling kids or people sneaking piercings to do it themselves. Other people are like, oh, well, I'm going to do it myself because it's cheaper. Well, cheaper in cases of tattoos and piercings are not always better. Trust me, darling, because you're gonna get a piercing that's going through a vein. No, you're not. Like, you do not want that. That's going to cause problems in the future. At best, it's going to take way too long to heal, and it's just gonna can bleed a lot. At worst, no. So you do not want that. Lip piercings bleed a lot, so just fair warning. In general, I think they're more bleedy than others, but I bleed a lot, especially when I'm laying down. So these two were very bleedy, especially my snide piercing. But so the point was, you don't want, like, an eyebrow piercing if it's not well done. You don't want a piercing that's not well done, and you don't want a piercing that isn't healthily done. You don't. It's not worth it to save up the money and go to a shop when you're old enough to do that, or you have someone like a parent, or hopefully your parent, because you need that for the shop anyways, that can drive you to the doctors if need be, or back to the piercer. The ball fell off of one of mine, and I'm like, well, what do I do? Luckily, when I got my second one, I knew how to handle it. With my first one, I, like really popped it out, and I could can screw it on now. But when it was healing, what you can do is literally go back to the piercer, and they'll just do it for you. Sterilize it, clean it, and then with sterile hands, turn it back and turn it tight and do it well. When she did one of my piercings here, she was so fast with it, or would tie it. So when people are like, oh, but it's faster, no, not if you're using one of these. Not when you're actually using real jewelry that is meant to stay in your body for a long period of time, that is meant for each individual piercing. So do not tell me that it's better when you don't do it at a shop. No, it isn't. No. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.